It's official. The Oklahoma City Thunder are back in the NBA Finals. And, the narratives that we've heard all year long about how this team wasn't ready. They've got to lose in the Western Conference Finals before they can have a chance of getting to the NBA Finals. Are J-Dub and Chet going to be ready to step up in big ways to be able to help the Thunder get to the next level? All of this has sort of been answered. And at this point, Oklahoma City getting to the NBA Finals is really starting to push a lot of these narratives that were put on this team, kind of putting them to bed. And now Oklahoma City is just 4 wins away from becoming the youngest team in NBA history to win the NBA Finals. So, of course, y'all know what we got to do. We got to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder's 124-94 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves to advance to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2012. What I need from y'all is to join the discussion. Jump in the comments below and let me know how excited you are for the Oklahoma City Thunder to end up in the NBA Finals. All right. So, Oklahoma City, they've done it. They've gotten back to the NBA Finals, and it just feels good. This feels good because, there was some scars from 2016. 2016 was supposed to be the year. I think every Oklahoma City Thunder fan, a lot of NBA fans will acknowledge that. 2016 was supposed to be the year. And there were some scars. There were some very hurt feelings amongst Oklahoma City Thunder fans and the organization at that point with everything that happened. And, the Oklahoma City went through some tough times. You're having to go through a rebuild and put this team together. And Sam Presti's done a phenomenal job. And one of the things that really stuck with one of the things that Sam Presti said was during the rebuild, when we do get back to the postseason, we want it to be an arrival, not an appearance. And I think that means so much right now because when we talk about this Thunder team now advancing to the NBA Finals to play either the Knicks or the Pacers, we're not going to assume which team it is because that series is not over yet. It is an arrival because this Oklahoma City Thunder team can stay together for probably 2 to 3 more years before you really have to start having the hard conversations. SGA, J-Dub, and Chet are arriving at the center stage of the NBA too early. I mean, let's be honest. The NBA did not want these 3 guys to figure it out and get to this point this early in their careers, especially where a lot of teams right now are discombobulated with stars moving, trying to figure out how to operate in these new aprons and this strategy that's been put together by the CBA. But Sam Presti has put together this team, and, you can see the chemistry. Like, you just see how well they trust each other. And the thing is, they have a really good player that hasn't even played this season that's on the bench. But we're not here to talk about that today. We'll talk about that at a later date. The Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Timberwolves 124-94. And you see Oklahoma City Thunder just come out from the beginning, just like they did in Game 7. Like, they came out ready for the punch. They wanted to give you the knockout blow. The Thunder were ready to advance, and they were not going to shy away from the moment. And I think that was one of the biggest things that you probably were concerned about with Oklahoma City coming into this playoffs. How was this young core going to be able to handle the big moments? And I get it. It's not like a big moment like Game 7 where it's a do or die situation. You're fighting for your life. But this was a big moment for Oklahoma City. A lot of people over the past couple of days had started penciling Oklahoma City into the NBA Finals. Right? You started to hear a lot of noise. Oklahoma City's going to win it all. Nobody's going to beat them at this point. And it would have been really easy for the Thunder to let that get to their heads and for Minnesota to have one of those get-right games in Game 5 and tie this series up 3-2, go back to Minnesota, win a game there, and Oklahoma City be in another 7-game series. That would have been really easy to happen. But instead, they got composed. They came out just like they did in Game 7, and they were going to show Minnesota physically and mentally that they were the better team. And I don't think there's any denying that. And then you see the crowd in both Game 7 and tonight, and really since I think it was like Game 5 of the Nuggets series, you have seen, or no, it was Game 3, or no, Game 2 of the Nuggets series. You have seen this crowd step up in the biggest way needed. I showed up to Games 1 and 2 in the first round. Let me tell you, the atmosphere was not great. And I heard the atmosphere in Game 1 wasn't great either. It took until Game 2 for the fans to really understand, hey, we need this team to step up in a big way. But Oklahoma City showed tonight why people believe that they can be the NBA champions, why people call them one of the best teams in NBA history. Because you saw it on the defensive side of the ball. At the end of the first quarter, it was 26-9. Remember, they did this against the Nuggets too. And at halftime, they only allowed Minnesota to have 32 points. 32 points. And so, if you're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, you look at this defense, the identity that this team has been built on. You see the way that they go in and they're able to break up passing lanes, frustrate guys like Anthony Edwards, put them in the quote-unquote torture chamber, right? And you say, that's what's going to win this team a championship. And you saw it on full display tonight. Oklahoma City forced Minnesota into 21 turnovers. At one point in this game, they pulled up a graphic on the screen. Minnesota had 15 made field goals and 15 turnovers. That is an insane stat to think about. 15 field goals and 15 turnovers. But that is the identity of this team. And they went and showed it out in full force. And they've done it on the biggest stage in front of everybody, proving the doubters wrong. And SGA goes out there, and he has really found himself as of late in these playoffs, showing everybody why he's the MVP of the league. And then after J-Dub took all the criticism in the Nuggets series, has been phenomenal in this Minnesota series. Chet really starting to find that form. Alex Caruso being the veteran leader that you need him to be. Multiple times have you seen him, not only in the Nuggets series, but in this series against Minnesota, having to go out there, calm the guys down, and just really show that veteran leadership, kind of like what you saw back in 2012 with the Kendrick Perkins or Derek Fisher. If you guys remember, bringing them in was probably some of the biggest impact that we've had on this franchise, because without those two guys, there's a good chance Oklahoma City doesn't make the finals that year. It was those two guys that brought a veteran leadership to the locker room and helped KD and Westbrook learn how to capture and play in those big environments. And I think you've seen that with Caruso, right? Caruso has been able to come in and help the young guys collect themselves and play in this big environment and remind themselves of who they are, because he is such an electric player in their foundation, which is defense. And so Oklahoma City tonight, they go out here and shoot 52% from the field, 40% from three, holding Minnesota to 41.2 on the field goal percentage, 35% from three. They out-rebound them 46-39. SGA goes out there and has himself another great night. 34 points, plus 23 in the plus or minus category. Extremely efficient. 14-25 from the field. Only 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Chet Holmgren, 22 points, plus 21. 7 rebounds, 3 blocks. You got J-Dub tonight, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. And again, I tell you, J-Dub is going to contend for a defensive player of the year, or at least an all defensive first team at some point or another. J-Dub is that good on defense. You saw it again tonight. And he has continued to help anchor this team on that side of the ball. And so if you're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, you don't want to get too excited because, man, it's just like you got to win 4 more games. You got to win 4 more games to get there. But it feels like the toughest part of the schedule is behind you, right? You've gone through a gauntlet. People cannot say that Oklahoma City has had an easy path to the NBA Finals, or that they've had some injury luck that has favored them. They have had to play everybody at full strength. They have had to play everybody at their best. And Oklahoma City is now in the NBA Finals waiting for their opponent, whether it's New York or Indiana, and it's going to be fantastic. So we're going to talk more about this over the next couple of days. We've got a while before the NBA Finals actually kicks off. So join the discussion, jump in the comments below, and let me know what your guys' thoughts are about Oklahoma City Thunder getting back to the NBA Finals.